Today we will explore the Meidum Pyramid in Egypt. Let's go! The Meidum Pyramid stands approximately 60 kilometers south of Cairo and the pyramids of Giza. I came there very early in the morning again, all by myself with a rental car. So we will have the pyramids all for ourselves again. And as you can see, this pyramid, it looks more like some kind of tower that's standing in a mountain of sand. And archaeologists and Egyptologists believe that this pyramid has been built in 3 stages and then it has kind of collapsed, and the result we're seeing today. And before we go inside this pyramid, we will take a quick look at these different stages of the construction and how this pyramid was built. So as I said, it was built in 3 stages, which we will call E1, E2 and E3 now. I will put here these graphics, which I got from Keith Hamilton, so credits to Keith Hamilton. And as you can see in the stage E1, it used to be in the beginning a step pyramid with 7 levels. And the number 7 is something that we see a lot in the ancient world. There are quite a few step pyramids all over the world that have exactly 7 levels. And one of them stands in Cambodia, in Khufu. And I have recently visited this pyramid, so if you are interested in that video, I will link it here. And yeah, as you can see, after the stage E1, they have added like another layer on top of it, which makes it then an 8-tiered step pyramid. And as you can see, they also have extended the entrance tunnel through this 9th layer. And yeah, and after that they have converted this step pyramid into a true pyramid in the construction stage E3, as you can see here. What is not really clear is if this stage E3 has been completed or if the construction has been cancelled. And now you can see how it looks today. This is the current state. And what's also interesting is that this the last layer, the layer number 10, which was supposed to convert the step pyramid into a true pyramid, it is not sitting on the bedrock foundation. All the other layers, the previous layers, they're all sitting on the bedrock as a foundation, and the layer 10 starts only 2.5 meters above it on the desert sand. So it's not connected to the bedrock foundation, which is also an interesting fact. And yeah, and then later this outer layer has either collapsed or they used it as a quarry to build other structures in the area. They found out about this by digging a tunnel underneath the pyramid. And that's how they were able to identify these 10 layers. And this construction style is really unique in Egypt. There is no other pyramid that looks like this or has been made like this. What's also interesting is that the only surface from the original step pyramid that is still visible today is this surface here, this band here. You can see this is the only surface which is original. Everything else has been added later on, if this theory is correct. And there are also reports that the quarrying or the destruction of this pyramid has been going on until fairly recently, until like I think 200 years ago, 150 years ago. And now we will enter the pyramid. To get to the entrance, you need to walk up this heap of sand until you reach this wooden stairs. which leads then to the entrance tunnel. You can see this hole in the facade up there. There you can see underneath the casing stones, the stones are kind of like raw. They only have a smooth surface on the outside. You can see very well the still smooth stones of the last construction phase, E3. And there you see the mastaba number 17. This is also a very interesting structure. That was really a surprise for me. I went in there immediately after the pyramid. The video is already online here on our channel. And inside the mastaba 17 is the supposedly oldest granite sarcophagus of Egypt. Super interesting. Now let's go inside the Meidum Pyramid. The pyramid manager is arriving, starting his duty. He wasn't so happy to see a tourist there so early in the morning. And the entrance is also very interesting. If this entrance was very concealed before with the casing stones, that's how it looks now when you remove this metal door. And that's how it used to look when it was still concealed. And imagine somebody looked at it and figured out that behind these stones is an entrance tunnel. He saw some kind of irregularity there. Unbelievable. Yeah, now let's go in. Let's go down. Now we're entering through the last layer, E3. You can still see that this last section of E3, the entrance tunnel, is still very smooth. And once we're entering the section E2, you will see that there is not a single stone, starting from now, there is not a single stone in the entire pyramid that has not been damaged. And according to Egyptologists, this damage is because of erosion, because of salt in the air, something like that. But I find this very astonishing, I have to say. Where does this massive destruction come from? Very strange. It goes very steep down, but it's not as narrow as in some of the other pyramids, the access tunnel. And in this pyramid, there is one central burial chamber, how they call it. But of course, no mummy has been ever found in here or in any other pyramid. Now we are reaching this horizontal passage. Here again, a graphic from Keith Hamilton. You should check out his research papers about the pyramids. Super interesting. Here we found something unbelievable later, which we will look at later on the way back. Now we will go up through this vertical shaft. And what's also interesting here is, here you can see some ancient wood which has been used either for the construction or maybe later on, because wherever the wood is, you see also this mortar or cement. Not sure if this was really like from the first stage or not, but you can see in between this white mortar. Now we are entering the so-called central burial chamber. And you can see it has also this characteristical corbelled ceiling. And this is something that we see in many pyramids, not in all of them. And what's special about this pyramid here is that this central chamber is not symmetric at all. If you look at these ceiling elements left and right, they're not even on the same height. it's not symmetrical, which is also very strange. You can see again this wood with this strange cement around it, this white cement. But we will look at that later again. And yeah, here again, like every stone is damaged. Every stone has a damage. Me personally, I don't think this is a burial chamber. I believe that this has some kind of other function, some kind of technical function. There's also a lot of bats in there, which is also interesting because I ask myself, how do these bats get in and out? Because they need to eat something and the door is always closed. So there must be some other accesses for them. And this is something that I also noticed in other pyramids. The pyramids are supposedly closed, but the bats are somehow surviving and thriving in there. And also, in this pyramid, there is another chamber that looks almost identical with the burial chamber. And this chamber has been hermetically sealed. And it has been only found because they drilled a hole through the wall and they went in with the endoscope. And they saw that this other chamber, which is called a relieving chamber by the archaeologist. But this relieving chambers, this is also something that you guys should look into. Yeah, they also say that in the King's Chamber, in the big pyramid of Giza, that there is also a relieving chamber. But according to my research, it is not 100% clear that this is really a architectural feature that really relieves the structure of its weight. So anyway, in this Meidum Pyramid, they found another chamber that looks almost same like the burial chamber, just smaller. And all the stones in there have been completely intact. There is no erosion, no damage, because it was hermetically sealed. Interesting. Let's continue. Now we're going down again, back into this horizontal passage. And here the tour guide, the Egyptian, he showed me something very, very astonishing. Between some of these blocks, have a look at it. It's crazy. There is a glass between the blocks. You see that? There is a proper glass between the block. So you guys tell me please, how does this get there? I know you will say now, yeah, this is modern made. Of course, it looks to me also like modern made, but please explain me how and why they put it there. How do you put this glass there and why? My first idea was maybe some kind of barrier before that the tourist cannot go in, but seriously, would you fuse a glass into the rock to put a glass there? I mean, if I want to put a glass there, I would build some kind of wooden frame or something, especially in Egypt. Even if you want to fuse a glass into the rock, good luck doing that in Egypt, in Meidum. Who you gonna call to do this for you? But yeah, please let me know in the comments what you think about this. And also, this is not the first time that we found glass in Egypt. Yeah, we also found glass in Saqqara, in an underground structure in Saqqara, in the southern tomb. The video is also online. I will link it here in the description. And here you can see a small section of this video. There you can see we found glass down there. And again, with the same white mortar. What is this? Please explain how this glass got there and why. I think the ancients were working with some kind of technology that produced very high temperatures, which caused the rock to melt and convert into glass. And also, please send these videos to your friends who might be interested in this, because we really need to find out what is happening here. As I mentioned earlier, this pyramid is thought to be one of the oldest true pyramids of Egypt, and it's officially attributed to Sneferu, which is the father of Khufu, which makes it like around 2600 BC. But of course, this can be debated because there are very little evidence supporting this. And as far as I know, the only evidence that Egyptology is presenting that this pyramid has been built by Sneferu is because they found this kind of stone fragments that contain very primitive signs of writing. And these writings are not even Egyptian hieroglyphs, and they believe that this is from the construction workers because they found similar stones in Dashur, and in Dashur stands the Red Pyramid and the Bent Pyramid, which are also accredited to Sneferu. And the reasons for that are similar to what we're seeing here. So in my opinion, we really have to take these facts from Egyptology with a grain of salt, because there is not much evidence for this. There is no written accounts and nothing has been found inside. We only have these primitive writing on the stones. I think Egyptologists don't even understand what is written on this stone. They just say it looks similar to something that we found in Dashur, and therefore it must be from Sneferu. That is the argument here, I think. I wasn't able to find anything else. I think the wood inside has been radiocarbon dated, and it roughly fits into the timeline of the Egyptologists, but I think it has been, the date that came out is before Sneferu. But correct me if I'm wrong. Some Egyptologists believe that this pyramid could have been started by Huni already, which was before Sneferu. But of course, the Egyptologists, they cannot go much more back in the timeline, because then they would leave their own playfield, let's say. Then we're going to pre-dynastic civilizations. Also, this access tunnels always, that there is no stairs. Without the wooden stairs, it would be like a slide. You would have to slide down there. I have a feeling that these are some kind of machines that have a technical purpose. Now we're outside again. And you can see this pyramid is really standing in a remote location in the middle of the desert, near the Fayum Oasis. And it was also not so easy to reach it alone, because there were a lot of checkpoints and police controls. And here we see again the Mastaba 17. Here is the video. Check it out, super interesting. I really had to crawl to some very narrow tunnels there to get in there. And yeah, as I said before, according to Egyptologists, it contains the oldest granite box of Egypt. It was really a fascinating place to visit. A lot of bats in there also. And again, no idea how the bats get in and out. Check it out. And I want to say thank you also to all our supporters that donated a little bit on PayPal. Thank you so much for your support. That really helps us a lot. And yeah, now we will check out the pyramid temple of the Meidum Pyramid. There is a small temple attached to the pyramid, and this one has been attached directly to the last construction stage, the stage E3. And what's special about this, you can see already these two stelas poking out there. I will put again here a 3D model. And these two stelas are completely blank. There is nothing written on it. There is no hieroglyphs on it, which is very unusual, and it adds to the mystery of the Meidum Pyramid, because usually on this kind of stelas we find information about under which king or pharaoh this has been built, or some stories or whatever. And in this case it has just been left blank, which yeah, is this an indication that they were trying to rewrite history there and they didn't complete it? I don't know. And what's also interesting, I was recently in Cambodia, in Angkor, and there I learned that in Angkor they also, the archaeologists, they also find this kind of stelas. You can see it here in the corner. And same like in Egypt, they find sometimes or many times written information in there, how it was built, when it was built, under which king, and so on. And in many cases, it looks like they have plastered on top of these stelas and then they etched their relatively primitive writing into it, which is a bit suspicious. And we have seen something similar inside the pyramid of Unas also, where they have, it seems like they have plastered on top of the walls and then added the hieroglyphs later on. So it seems like this is some kind of global phenomenon, but we will soon make a separate video about this topic. But would be interesting to know what you guys think about it, so let us know in the comments. Is this a cover-up, or what are we looking at here? Yeah, these are the blank stelas, or the empty stelas of the Meidum temple. Also this temple itself, no hieroglyphs or any decoration at all. Yeah, but it seems like it belongs to the construction phase E3. And yeah, then we have reached the end of this video again. I hope you enjoyed it, and please let us know in the comments what you think about this glass that we found. We always have very intelligent, smart and technical people here on the channel, so let us figure out how this glass got in there and why. Also, please check out our video about Saqqara, where we found the glass in the southern tomb near the step pyramid. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. I wish you a wonderful day. If you like to support our work, you can find the PayPal link in the description. And see you in the next video. Ciao!